JM Storytellers, go insane!
Welcome back to the JM Storytellers Workshop Podcast, episode 11. Today I'm sitting down with someone who works and lives at the intersection of creativity, healing, and community. He's a photographer, storyteller, a mental health rehabilitation coach, and someone who uses both lenses and life's lessons to help people see themselves in a new way. A self-proclaimed creator from Bushwick, Brooklyn. You might know him as Brother Keys, but today we get to know the man behind the vision. Kishon, what's up? Welcome to the show. What role do you think storytelling plays in changing how society views mental health?
How do I think storytelling... One more time, because that question is very good.
All right. What role do you think storytelling plays in changing how society views mental health?
Everybody deserves to be the main character of their own story. And storytelling is an art. Like, you have to learn how to tell people who you are or what you're going through, or maybe just an experience that you have had and maybe that you would like to have, or maybe even make something out of just like thin air and do it with such, like fluidity that people are on the edge of their seats like, oh, tell me more. And
right.
that helps with mental health and the freedom of society, because it helps you to learn that that's the original purpose of life. Everybody's purpose is for them to be the main character of their life. So the storytelling really goes on in your brain. You dig what I'm saying? Like, and I learned that part in The Alchemist, one of my favorite books of all time. It showed me that there's something called a personal legend in the book that is preached about, and
I like that.
When you're the protagonist, right, is a shepherd, and he kept having this feeling of him being something. He had a dream that he had to go see the pyramids, but he was a shepherd, and his parents wanted him to grow up and be a pastor and stuff, and he was going to give up. But then this random guy, this guy in a cloak, this king actually, met him, spoke to him, and told him he's about to give up his personal legend and continue being a shepherd, because he doesn't have enough confidence, and that's why he showed up. And most of the times, we have maybe an experience, maybe we see somebody else, we're inspired by somebody else, we hear something that makes us want to embark upon the journey that we all have the right to embark upon, which is our journey, our life. Some people have their lives molded, written, and given to them by their parents, right? And that goes for all cultures, like arranged marriages and stuff like that, or like rich families, like this is the family business and this is what you're gonna do. It's like, well, what the heck? What if I want to do something else? Right? See, free will is, from what I've learned, and I'm still studying it, is your decision to do something or not to do something. And this is an argument that's even in movies, how people say that there is no such thing as choice. But when you believe in that there is no such thing as choice and there is no such thing as free will, then that means that you don't really believe in God. Because God gave you basically the choice to live. Something innate in you decided to have the willpower, no matter how many times you fell. I bet you can't count. I bet you can't tell me how many times you fell before you really got 10 steps in, before you started running. Nobody can. But something in us, this piece of us, this soul, this divine piece of us, that wants to live, that wants to thrive, that wants to continue to grow and be bigger, is sometimes destroyed or taken from us because of the mental that the mentality that somebody else puts in our brain. It can be fear. It can be, like them staring us from what we're supposed to do, what we want to do, into what they think we're supposed to do. Which is why I'm also a strong advocate on this. I'm gonna start talking to parents soon. And you're a parent, so you could probably check this out. Like
Yes.
when it comes to knowing your kid, knowing your child, and like as you learn them, allow them to make mistakes, and sitting back and seeing like, okay, like let me see you make that mistake. I made that same mistake, but I'm not going to speak too prematurely. If you got the control, like, let me see. If it's not none too dangerous. Oh, you fell. You hurt? Get back up. Try it again. Oh, okay, they're tilting their shoulder. Like riding a bike. Their hips just move. They're leaning to the right. Try leaning up. You keep leaning, right? You allow them to. They probably gonna fall 5 more times before that. Then you say, yo, you get up. Make sure that you keep your hips straight, but try. You don't tell them nothing about the handlebars yet. You're not even telling them how fast to pedal. You're letting them discover all these things by themselves. So it's kind of like that, like what I said earlier about the wind against your back, and like having a vision for yourself, and also having the liberation, because learning is liberation, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like learning who you are as you mature, because you're not the same person when you're a teenager from when you're like a 40-year-old adult. You're just not the same person, because you have a completely different perception and a comprehension about what the world is, and like what you want to do, where you want to go, who you want to be, whatever. And most importantly, you have something that a lot of people run away from, which is called wisdom. Wisdom completely changes who you are and what you do. And then you learn what choices you don't even need to make. What things you don't even need to embark upon, because it's not who you are. You don't want to be that person, right? But if somebody forces you, let's say you don't like ketchup on your eggs. You like barbecue sauce or something. You like anything but ketchup. And every time you go to a restaurant, all they have is ketchup and mustard. All they have is ketchup and mustard, salt, and black pepper. And every time you go to a restaurant, you're like, yo, I don't like ketchup, bro. I want barbecue sauce. And because you like barbecue sauce, you have to now raise your hand, ask the waiter, go out of your way. Hey, do you have barbecue sauce? For what? This is eggs. We have we didn't order. You have a hot dog. What do you need barbecue sauce for? For my eggs. For your eggs. You put barbecue sauce in your eggs? Or you don't put ketchup? No, I don't like ketchup on my eggs. Now, depending on your self-belief and your self-confidence, you may be like, all right, I'll just take the ketchup. Knowing you don't like ketchup. Knowing you want the barbecue sauce, which is right in the back. They got the sauce. But because you don't have that, I want barbecue sauce on my eggs. I don't want no ketchup. Okay? Like, you have to have this self-actualization, this self-belief, and this self-love. And in the world that we live in, bro, they trying to make it all the way weak. They want comedians to stop cracking jokes. You can't tell somebody that something is ridiculous. You dig what I'm saying? And there's a difference between freedom and crossing the line and making things completely inappropriate. You dig what I'm saying? And in the world that we live in, self-expression in its truest form is becoming inappropriate, which is ridiculous, right? Artists...
Yeah, that is very ridiculous.
Right. Artists are now being penalized for being artistic and art,
right.
And just like certain things, like again, like somebody had the idea to make shoelaces, bro. Somebody one day said, I'm gonna make some shoes, and I'm not just gonna make a latch. I'm gonna make shoelaces to tie this up.
Right.
I wonder how much should I do it all the way from the toe all the way up to the bridge of the foot? Should I do it right in the bridge of the foot, or should I experiment? Let me see. Like, somebody also made chairs. You dig what I'm saying? Somebody decided to make steps to get you from one level to the next. You dig? And also too, your art, how you made your stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Dreams.
Right, your vision, your mind. You don't care. Like, oh, somebody's be like, oh, you still doing that? You still doing what? Yeah, I am actually. Right.
I love it too.
And I'm not just doing clothes. I'm not just doing buttons and shoes. You missed that season. I'm doing technological stuff. I'm doing 3D prints, huh?
Right.
I'm doing cartoons. I'm doing animation, right? I'm doing video games.
Hey,
you know,
hydrogen fuel.
And that's
next is hydrogen fuel cells.
Right. And that's your momentum. That's because you refuse to allow somebody else to minimize your dream or tell you that it's not good enough, or you should do something that is much more normal or not as loud or not so expressive. You like, yo, I don't care what you talking about. I'm creating this. Yes. I'm materializing this. That's and when you got that, you was about to say something?
No, that's how I feel.
Right. When you making this stuff, not only do you feel better, but you're like, yo, look, if other people like it, cool, but I like it. And heck, I like it when other people like it. So it's a different battery that you're operating on. You're operating on what I call, like, you're operating on like the God battery, and you're using the infinite magical space dust that you're made of. Something that has been here before you was born in the flesh, and something that will be here that will transcend you. You know what I'm saying? Right. But most importantly, you want your work and your life's craft to transcend you. That's the purpose of manifesting and making something that's in this world, because some things cannot be defeated by Father Time. They're still trying to figure out the pyramid. They're still finding pyramids all over this planet, bro. They still can't figure out the mathematics of that. They still can't figure out the mathematics of certain archaeological findings about sound and how certain...
Now, they just finding out that stars are conscious. They just finding that out.
Planets.
Just finding that out.
They still trying to figure out parts of the ocean. Still trying to really figure out how big this world is. They ain't gonna tell everybody because they don't want to tell everybody. We ain't gonna get canceled now. We ain't gonna get your deal. They'll probably be on some. But let's get him out of here now. He knows too much. Like,
his episode is like that.
Right. So, but that all just caters to you're much bigger and way more capable than you give your credit for. And if you just so happen to be lucky to have faith in yourself, and you just so happen to be lucky to live into your adulthood and you become an elder, you'll see one hell of a life, especially in the time right now in the information age where you can create stuff and where we can have robots serve us. You know what I'm saying? Yes. It's completely different, you know? So
that's see, that's where I'm at with AI. Is everybody wants to fight with it, but I feel like we could manipulate it in such a way where it could serve us. You know what I mean? In a good way. You know what I mean?
We're supposed to. Supposed to. That's what I believe. Computers, even the first computers, Windows 98, Macintosh, what is that? That's not artificial intelligence. That's not a computer. When you click a button and it turns on, you play a game on something, you type, you search.
For that time.
Right. It's just becoming more and more prevalent, and it's just now they're just giving it legs and arms. Right? That's really it. So, and it's just becoming more and more intelligent of a brain. I'm not afraid of anything, including the only thing I'm really afraid of is God, and it's not even being afraid of something, is having a respect for the infinite, because I know that it's infinite DNA code that you have of your great parent. Like, the fact that you're here is that you created, survived, and thrived so long that you're now in the flesh because of your forefathers. So it's like, what genetic code do you have in you? What do you learn? What type of mannerisms and steps do you take that didn't really belong to you until you was born today? Right? So having these, respects of just like creation and the laws, it's like, bro, you shouldn't be afraid of a computer. You shouldn't be one of those
Right.
people. Because if you're afraid of a computer, that means you won't ever use it. Just like how they said people read the Bible too deeply and didn't really see that it had to deal with the mind, and they became afraid of chips. Now everybody has a credit card. What are you talking about? The same thing you said you ain't gonna use. You use. What are you talking
Right.
about? What are you talking
Everybody.
about?
Right.
Don't use your credit card. I dare you.
Right.
Don't use it. Go ahead. Move to somewhere else besides America, like Bangladesh, and you come and you tell me how it is over there. You dig what I'm saying? Or somewhere where it's overcrowded. No shade to Bangladesh. I'm saying like motherfuckers will say that something is not what they'll ever use until they have no choice but to use it and now make it serve them. And it's like move with caution, not fear.
Yes.
Caution, not fear.
That's
will
what my
help
granny
you.
used to always say.
You said what?
That's what my grandmother used to always tell me.
Move with caution, not fear.
Mhm.
Smart, because if you move with fear, you're too overstimulated. You jumping at everything. Your shadow is scaring you. But with caution, you'll look first. You'll be like, it's kind of like stepping on a stone path to see which stones is gonna move, which ones are slippery or not. You know what I'm saying? Versus just jumping on it without any type of caution at all. Caution is okay.
Right.
Fear is a destabilizer of the mind and can immobilize you. So I'm not big on fear, but I do recognize the use of caution.
Great. If you could capture one moment in history through your lens, which would it be?
Dang, that's such a good question. There's so
I'm in suspense.
it's so much, man. The first thing I thought about was Christ. I wanted to see what that what homie was like when he was like swagging. Cause in my brain, like the personification of Christ is like a swaggy ass dude, bro. Like
Yes.
stupid swaggy, like crazy swag, right? And also too, I was thinking of myself like in different moments of like when I was a kid or just like most free, right? Or how could I say more? I was also thinking like very early in time, like before there were cameras or anything like that, like what the world looked like thriving back when the pyramids were not dust. What did that look like? How did the people communicate with one another? Right? When this world was, before it was tarnished and before it was flooded, you know, like what form of energy did we use and how did we communicate with one another? You know, also a form of time. What time would I like to? When, from God's perception, because I know I don't know it, because I try to find it all the time. When was I most happiest and what was I doing? Because I don't know. I try to find that all the time. Right. I think in it is always multiple moments, and one of the moments I think of is when I first started to when I had to learn how to walk again at the age of 22 when I had an open pelvis fracture, and I remember there was a moment, I did catch it on camera, but there was a moment where I was walking and the girl that I was speaking to at the time, she never came to therapy with me except for that one day, and I felt like crap. My mom was there, my aunt was there, and my therapist, my physical therapist was like, today we're going to show your family what you've been working on. And I was learning how to walk again as an adult. And I remember I was walking and I didn't have like no crazy smile on my face. Like I was actually kind of pissed off, to be honest. And I was walking with my Hemi walker, one step at a time. And when I sat down on my chair, there was a moment where I smiled because it was like something so simple such as walking. It took me a lot to do again, but when I sat down, I remember having it on video. I don't have that video anymore, and I sat there and I was like I did it. Moments like that, I would like to have pictures of myself, and I would also like to know the moment that I was in and why And because I have the picture of it, I'll be like, oh, I remember why. So it's kind of hard. I would like to, instead of just like one moment, it would be an album. More so.
Both his brother Keys, the coach, and his Kishon, and the photographer. What's next?
You got me hype. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like, and it's funny because I feel like I've already written it. I'm more so excited to become a more liberated version of myself, and also like I've been having like such a struggle with like my finances for a while, but the breakthrough is here. And because I stopped having such a struggle with money and I started learning it more, the next step from what I've seen, God has shown me, and also like what I've been planning for, is excluding poverty out of my life permanently. Permanently not having it in my life anymore, because poverty is a mindset. And after you get it out the mindset, only then can you really attract the wealth that belongs to you. And as I learned more so of who I am, it's like I've been able to go on much more ventures. I've been boxing as well too. I haven't really been telling anybody that. Yeah, I've been boxing, I've been training, and I want to take it way more seriously to see the capabilities of my body, which is kind of like psychotic because I have 16 screws and 2 plates in various places in my body, but I don't give a rat's ass, bro. I'm gonna get jiggy, you feel me? Probably knock somebody clean the fuck out, probably get knocked out. Who knows? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? I don't care.
Something new.
Check it out, right? New. And also too, I know that'll just make me stronger and way more confident to take on certain things in my life that may have scared me before, because like if I'm not scared to get knocked out clean by somebody, it's like I won't be afraid for somebody to say no, we don't want you here, or we don't like your ideas. Like, all right, whatever. I don't care. And I sat there and I thought about it, and I wrote down the list of all the things that I bring to the world and who I am, and it's like, yo, bro, like I can actually say that there are certain things that I've done, that I've accomplished. Not superficial, but things that actually matter, things that I do for myself and my family, like the things that people say that you're supposed to do, that they say that they do, the exercising, the accountability, the journaling, to try and, not just journaling, writing, but figuring out who they are, that mirror in their mind, going through the trauma. I didn't pay no therapist. I sat down for 10 years, a decade, and studied myself because I did not want to be mentally injured anymore, mentally fractured anymore. I stopped hating myself. I stopped hating other people. I know how to analyze my dreams. I motivate other individuals. You know what I'm saying? I hold the door open for people that don't say thank you, and I don't care. If I see an old person crossing the street, I help them. I have good manners. I get great interaction from animals around the world. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have I'm not overcome by lust and shit like that. I'm building things, I can make money by being not make money. Let me correct my language. I can earn money. I know how to earn money. I know how to make things out of nothing. I know how to manifest. I actually use the world and the ether for what it's supposed to be used for. I interact with the electricity that's all around us. Why the heck would I call myself or name myself a 5 out of 10? Because I don't have the money. So if I have $1 million in my bank account, what would I be then? And when she asked me that question, I was like, okay. All right. So as I started to work on myself and I started to build my character, so as my money started to grow, I'm not a shitty person. Because I've touched a lot of money before. I've had like pocket full of racks where I could buy whatever I wanted. You know what I'm saying? But I was depressed. I was sad. I was down. But as I started to become a millionaire before the $1 million, because Jim Rohn said that. He said, if you get $1 million, best you become a millionaire so you can keep the $1 million. Being a millionaire is a mindset. Being a person that is wealthy is a mindset. And certain things, like even just like my energy, like when people walk into the apartment that I'm staying in right now, like they look around like, whoa. Like It's still the same basement, but the mathematics and the environment is different because I'm different and I've changed my environment. So it feels like they're in a mansion because of how I've built it, you know? So what's next for me? Just bring to life everything that I've written down in my books that I've been practicing, and, you know, get out here and start maybe dating again and stop being so afraid of it. Because I'm low-key a little bit afraid, bro. I was in a relationship for 8 years, had my heart broken, you know what I'm saying? I thought I was going to get married. That didn't work. And then even when I was trying to get back out there again, I got, again, like knocked down, punched in the face, punched in my heart, and I didn't date for years. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to find out why I'm so weak and what about me needs to be improved, and I'm going to learn how to be the best partner ever. It is. We're supposed to be doing this, you know what I'm saying, in order to build and make things greater, and then just continue to communicate and stuff like this. So hopefully this is a positive trend that will continue on both our ends. You dig what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, we want to you know, involve everybody in this podcast.
I can
and a lot
dig
of other
that.
things. Yeah.
I can dig that.
Word.
Man. That's what's up. All right, bro. Well, we will reconvene. Yes, this footage is fine. We gonna go through this stuff. I'm gonna be clipping and putting up on my page and stuff too, so you already know what time it is.
Do it, bro. You do it.
My
and
brother.
We got some more later, my brother.
That was Brother Keys on the JM Storytellers Workshop Podcast, episode 11. Thank you, my brother. It was an honor having him. Hope you guys gonna tap into him and see what's up with his story, right? Johnny Madison been riding on piggyback. I don't think he like it. Guess he do not.
Johnny Madison, babe, oh yeah. Wanna hear him roll, oh yeah. Johnny Madison, babe, oh yeah. Wanna hear him roll, oh yeah. Johnny Madison, babe, oh yeah.
With his friends, it don't seem so scary. For the power, get your elderberries. Out the cave with your suit, you ready. Base love race, hit you fools already. And don't think he can't fight, cause he cool or friendly. Mother bear's kinda late. Johnny out the cave, mother bears hibernate. Lolo out the water and he found himself a mate. Boomy came down just to make sure he was straight. Robbie on his side, even if he need a ride. And his girlfriend Bella on a rollerblade who said bears don't skate.
Johnny Madison, babe, oh yeah. Wanna hear him roar, oh yeah. Johnny Madison, babe, oh yeah. Wanna hear him roar, oh yeah. Johnny Madison, babe, oh yeah.
We don't watch Pooh Bear. Paddington neither. It's Johnny Madison Bear only.